Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Trails Radio Show. Thank you for joining us this evening. Today, my special guest is actress Miss Elaine Ballace. Thank you, and join us in a minute. Okay, my first question to you is, how did you get started being an actress? How did your career begin?
Well, it actually started as a professional ice skater. And being an ice skater, someone at the rink saw me, and back in the day there was a big difference between amateur and pro. And if you were an amateur, you couldn't do anything professionally. You couldn't do commercials. You couldn't do anything except compete. It's all changed now, but back in those days, that was it. And my parents made the choice to let me do what I wanted to do. So I started doing commercials, and they were skating commercials, too. So I had the best of both worlds.
Yeah. How did you get started in ice skating?
Well, that's even more interesting. My ice skating career started because I had a much older sister who was very badly knock-kneed, and the doctor suggested ice skating as opposed to, wearing braces and surgery and stuff like that. And so she would go for skating lessons, and I kept, as a little toddler, I guess, I was only, 3 or 4, and I kept screaming, I want to skate, I want to skate. So they finally found skates that would be able to fit me. Hence, there it started. That was the only way to keep me quiet, was to throw me on the ice.
Yeah.
And so that's how I started, and then I just went from one rink to a bigger rink in Hollywood, and ironically, the rink in Hollywood where I learned to skate, really well and became a professional is now, it burnt down when I was a teen, so we were all scattered all over. But that rink, ironically, is now another part of Raleigh Studios, because it was owned, the same owners, that owned the property. There was the ice rink, and then Raleigh Studios was on the other side. And then when it burnt down, they didn't rebuild the rink. They just built more sound stages for Raleigh Studios. And last month, they screened a movie I did, Love Without Hairs, on the Raleigh studio lot. So I literally went home and said, see, skating started my acting, and now my acting is replacing where I learned to skate.
Yeah, it's like a circle of life. Yeah, full circle.
That's it, exactly. Yes, so I came full circle, and whenever I go to Raleigh Studios, I'm always there to tell the people, do you know the history of this studio? And they go, no, and they could probably care less. So I said, well, when I was a little girl, and then I proceed to tell them and how it's changed and how different it is. But all the famous people who skated there, and it was a very famous rink. People could Google it. It's called the Polar Palace, and they'll Google the Polar Palace and see that it was a very famous rink.
Wow, interesting. Do you still skate, or now are you just primarily acting?
No. After a while, your mind knows what your body can't do, and the body's going, are you kidding me? Didn't I do that long enough? All the years and hours and cold and everything. I did try going back once, and after I'd quit for about 10 years, and then I tried going back, and I went, oh my gosh, I used to do this. I had to do what they call swizzles, which are like the very beginning of skating, and at no time do both feet leave the ice, and so I had to kind of do swizzles to get started to push, but it was, you don't realize how many muscles you use in skating until you stop doing it and try and do it again, and you go, wait, I had muscles that did this? Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, now you're acting, and do you have any upcoming projects you'd like to share?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, everybody can watch UMC, which is Urban Movie Channel. It's a streaming service, and I'm on the, as they call it, the soap comedy. It's not even really a dramedy, but because it's really funny. It's a soap opera. It's a behind the scenes of the soap opera, and it is called The Rich and the Ruthless. And all 3 seasons are on UMC, and this season was season 3. And we won for Best Ensemble in a Cast for the first 2 years. The 3rd year of awards hasn't even begun yet, but the first 2 years we won for Best Ensemble, and one of the actresses won for lead actress in a comedy. So we're an award-winning show, so they can watch that on UMC, binge watch all 3 seasons. And I play the character Fern, who is the assistant to Richard Brooks. And so that's really fun. And then I have a secret lover on the show who is played by Shadow Stevens. And I'm sure everybody knows both of them. And it's filled with the most wonderful people in an ensemble I've ever worked with, and everybody loves everybody. I mean, we've been, friends and just family for 3 seasons, and it was just wonderful. And I hope eventually, it gets picked up somewhere else maybe, and we can go longer. Because it's a fun show. It's a really fun show, and it's very diverse. It's by Victoria Rowell, who was on The Young and the Restless. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very diverse cast, and it's just wonderful. I mean, you'll get laughs out of it. So everybody watch that. I have a movie coming out called Love Without Hairs, and that's by Javier Barbera, who's an award-winning director from Spain, and he lives in the U.S. now. So I did that, and it was written by Raphael Buñuel, who is the son of famed director Louis Buñuel, who won all kinds of awards in the 60s. So that's coming out. And then also I did a film called Gaysism, and it's about prejudices in the LGBTQ community with ethnicity and, religion and stuff like that. So that one is very diverse, and I play the minister who marries them. So that was it was very fun. Wonderful cast, brilliant director and actors in it. And then another film, which was so much fun, is called Dared, and it's about it's based on a book called How Someone Dared to Ruin His Best Friend's Life. So I have 3 things coming out, and one thing they can watch now for sure, and then they can always go to YouTube and watch Camp Elaine, and they can follow me on Twitter at Camp Elaine, and they can Facebook Elaine Ballace, Ballace, and Elaine with an I, Elaine, and YouTube. So they can subscribe to my YouTube channel, the one with the audition, because there are several different pages that people have set up, but the one that I have, people can subscribe to, and it's the one with the audition, and also a Christmas video is on there as well. So there are all kinds of ways people can find me.
Yeah, well, that's good, the more the better, people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's really, I love acting, and the thing about acting as opposed to skating is, even though they say it's very youth-oriented, with acting you can do it until you die, literally. But skating, I don't know that you can do it till you die. Lacing up those skates gets kind of difficult.
Yeah. But with acting, you can do it, like you said, until you die. It's not age.
It's not as age restrictive because you don't want to be pounding your body, and you're not going to be doing all those jumps and spins and everything. And people say, well, don't you just want to go out and skate? And you do want to do the tricks. I mean, not like, that, but you want to be able to move, and it's just a lot harder when you get a lot older. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah.
However, there is a skater, Richard Dwyer, who is in the Ice Follies, Mr. Debonair, and he is in his 80s, and he still skates every single day and still jumps and spins and does everything. So it's the key is to never quit. If you quit, it gets harder each time to go back.
Yeah. And that can be said anything in life, never quit.
I was just going to say, so that's applicable to everything. And really, I think my whole life I've applied everything from skating to life. It's like in performances, you get one shot at doing a skating performance. And so I've applied that to really kind of everything in life. If you're going to go out for an audition, you usually only get one shot. If you're shooting a movie or something, they might do more than one take. But for the most part, you want to nail it the first time. So you practice. Know your lines, know your marks, do whatever it takes. And when I did stage productions, I would do the same thing for acting that I did in skating. I'd get there really early, and I'd walk around the stage, and I'd say my lines where they were supposed to be. So I never really worried about, stage fright or going up on my lines or anything, because I pretty much knew, okay, if I'm in this spot, this is where this line is. If I'm in that spot, the same as when you're doing a skating program, you set it so you know, okay, this is where this jump or spin goes. This is where this jump or spin goes. This is where this move goes. So it makes it so much easier in life.
Yeah. Absolutely, and practice makes perfect, and there's always room to learn. You never stop learning.
You never stop learning. So that's what makes it really fun and interesting. And in skating, you can kind of know the tricks that are going to work, that are going to get a good ovation, or where to put them in the program or something. In acting, you just have to practice and practice and practice till it becomes second nature, and you're at ease, and you're at ease with your body and your mind, and you just let it flow. And that I learned from skating. I learned so much from skating. It was such an incredible learning experience, and it was a wonderful sport, and I kind of miss the beauty of it now that it's become such a jump fest, that a lot of the beauty and music interpretation are gone, and they've regulated it so much that everyone's doing almost the same thing and maybe a slightly different order, whereas before people were able to develop more creativity and more style. But now I see skating going in the direction of gymnastics and how many turns can you do, Mm-hmm. So I think some of the beauty is missing, but I applaud them for being able to do it.
Yeah.
Like quads, I just don't know how their bodies are going to be able to handle all the quads, when they get older. Right now it's okay, but when they get older, I don't know. I don't know that was such a good move for, the Olympic Committee and, the International Skating Union to put such heavy demands on such young people who's, some of them, their bones are still developing, or if there are any damages, they may never, recover. So I think I'm glad I skated when I did, when there was more beauty in skating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, everything's changing. Yeah, but
everything. It's like, even with technology, once I finally figure out how to work my phone,